folks. I'm back for the fifth. Which way is it going? West? So that's south 3. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. For the fifth daily grind, to conclude the first week of my doing it this way, and on Deneb. I thought I might continue, albeit potentially failure-y, to discuss science fiction, in part because I have written some, and I intend to write more, assuming I ever finish the first one. I mean, I wrote a draft, 125,000 words, which is a fat novel. Typically big enough that they would want to, any actual publisher would want to split it into 2. But I didn't even get close to finishing the story, so it needs work. Plus, I got lost on parts. Hello, what's going on here? Cooperate, please. Oh. Tease me and then take it away. Sure. What's going on? What am I seeing? Oh, that's a cutout again. Why does the game have so much difficulty with this? I tell you, that's one thing I really want, is a combination of procedurally developed worlds like this and the kind of Vista-friendly, the view-friendly mechanics behind a game, I think it was called Asheron's Call. I don't remember much from it. I never able to get very far in that game. I didn't understand what was going on, but I did like the views a lot. I wonder if that can still be played today. Maybe that would be worth looking into. I looked into playing Rhizome again, not terribly long ago, and I got as far this time as I did the last time, where I got off the Newbie Island area and then stopped. It just wasn't really worth it. Luckily, it was for free, so I didn't lose anything, just except a little bit of time. But I don't know. Regardless, I want to be able to see long distances. And that has nothing to do with still talking about science fiction. Opnik. Now 3 of us are on. Caffeine is in bed by now, so that's not it. Or she won't be on. Oh, those of us here are all on the East Coast. Different parts of the East Coast, but East Coast nevertheless. And she's on the England Atlantic coast. So, ooh. Oh, I don't have room for this, do I? No, I don't. However, this thing's about to break, so... Oh, not soon enough. Here. Let's get more sand. So yeah, I feel compelled to try to talk about science fiction in terms of what I've done. But on the other hand, I don't want to necessarily put out my ideas for others to copy, and unfortunately the world is full of copiers, some rather blatant ones in particular, but God, you do anything good and people will copy you. This of course assumes I've done something good, which is to be determined, but I worry about it nevertheless a little bit. Not super amazing. Super amazing. Certainly some. And I do not have bones. Okay, sorry wolves. Do you even eat bones? You do. Okay. So, sorry for the sniffles. Yes, this is the same night. I'm recording in a batch because I don't really have much of a choice. I got enough beef to collect. Oh, jeez, I almost hit the wolf. Hello? Very good. Alright, so... I have felt compelled recently to write some standalone short science fiction, usually based around brief and incomplete ideas. And these might be safer to talk about. But one of the things is, and one of the reasons why I'm becoming... Actually, I was talking about this on LinkedIn just today a little bit, and some guy came in and somehow turned this into a sort of like a Tea Party rant against us commies in the science fiction channel. which is strange because, I mean, well, okay, if that's the case, what are you doing here? But that aside, one of my initial comments on this particular thread, which was about trying to bring back, humans in space, sci-fis like Trek and stuff like that, because there aren't too many of them. Lately, it's all been alien invasions and mutants and things that happen here rather than out there, and make us victims rather than explorers and stuff like that. So, I sympathize, but I said, to a certain extent, I no longer easily accept humans in space science fiction. And it's not that I don't want to, it's just I've learned quite a bit over the years, in particular about how technology advances. It advances exponentially, essentially, in part basically because one technology makes it that much easier to discover or invent the next technology. And so it's compound. It's like compound interest at a bank. It starts off slowly and it grows from there. And this guy, Ray Kurzweil, who expresses this pretty well, he's not the only one, but he's a fairly prominent, if somewhat self-centered one. At least he seems to aggrandize himself in ways that put me off a little bit, but not enough that I don't understand the veracity of the message. Hold on. I'm not sure. I feel like there might be a thing of value down here. God, lag. Stop with the lag. Oh, little guy. Come on. There we go. Stay there. We don't like you. No lag, please. I feel like there might be a... You know what I'm talking about. One of those little dungeons in here somewhere. Probably not that lucky, but worth a look. Probably now that I'm not hearing any, that's not actually the case. Come back. Oh, gotta eat. Oh well. This will indicate where I've been. Whoops. Anyways. Yeah, no such luck. Okay. Anyways, I better take this back. Get the hell out of here. I don't suppose there's anything down here. No, not even close. Well, yeah, in regards to humans in spaceflight, I don't think it's going to happen anymore. I mean, we've done it a little bit, obviously, going to the moon and going into orbit. But going into orbit doesn't really count as spaceflight. It's more like upper atmosphere flight, really, because they've never actually really been completely in space except for those who went to the moon. And even then, that's so close. That's our back. It's not our backyard. It is literally the handle on the door leading out to the backyard. That's how close it is. So to brag about it, I mean, it's actually a hugely important step, but it's not space flight in the terms I'm thinking of. It's not like Star Trek where they're flying out to distant parts of the galaxy or even between galaxies, as somebody should probably write more about. But, just really local stuff that we have to achieve. Holy cow. I'm under some pressure over here. My sword is winding down. I can't stay. Seem to have re-entered a new taiga. Still heading the right way. Oh, yeah. I just don't believe anymore. In part because I have come to believe in this concept called singularity, which I have talked about before, wherein the essential gist of it is that as each new technology takes a fraction of the time the last took because of the availability of the new technology, it comes to a point where technology advances so fast through technologically assisted means that humans cease to be able to keep up with it in human terms. And we have the choice of abandoning or somehow trying to stop technological advancement, which at that point will have so much momentum that it just could not be done. The technology will not... It will be invented whether we want it to or not, because to a certain extent, technology is already inventing technology through modeling. Sometimes we largely model stuff and then sit back and let the computers do the work. And later on, the computers will be figuring out what they want to invent. And then what? Are we abandoned by our own technology, or do we, in an attempt to keep up with it, become the technology? And that's more likely what's going to happen. You'll get a few Luddites who choose not to go along, and to a certain extent, I even celebrate that. There should be a subsection of people who want not necessarily to have to live according to technology. But the fact of the matter will remain that they will be a different species as a result. Or they'll be the same one, and we, or those of us who sort of advance, will be something that isn't human anymore. Cannot be called human because it no longer resembles humanity. It might not even resemble a life form, except in its interactivity, really. And that's going to be soon. It's probably going to be in my lifetime, and I'm in my 30s. So for some of you, you're going to be like, you're half dead already. Well, not close enough. Oh man, standing this close is probably unwise. Because every stage takes a fraction of the time the last stage took, and produces more effect. That's just the way it goes. So I don't know. I'm not putting it very well, but I would not be surprised if by the 2030s we have a great technologically advanced schism between one kind of humanity and the other. And the type that chooses to modify itself to become technology will be so incredibly powerful. I mean, they'll have literally at the whim, they'll have the power to manipulate things down to an atomic level across the entire, it seems like a lot right now trying to manage trillions of atoms. But there's so many things now we take for granted that would seem just as impossible just 50 years ago, much less 100 or 1,000 years ago. So, and the way these things work, the next 10 years will see as much advancement as the last 100. And the next year after that will see as much advancement as the previous 10 and as much as the last 100. So you can see it's reaching it. We've reached that hockey stick part of the exponential curve where it stops appearing to be moved horizontally and starts appearing to move vertically. And that is singularity. Because in order to keep up or to, from a perspective, make that curve flat again, you have to change yourself to keep up. And that will be a new kind of humanity, which may not even really be biological. I mean, I can very easily picture humanity, that fragment of humanity, becoming the equivalent of collectively intelligent dust motes that can, configure them. I'm seeing a lot more of these all of a sudden. Holy cow. I never used to see any, and now they're all over the place. Man, the lag. Whew. That's not going to last much longer. Oh, it destroyed the... Dagnabbit. I didn't have room for it anyways, and it wasn't magical. Man, I thought that thing looked like a Yeti for a second, or a Sasquatch. So, I kind of see that as a good thing, singularity. Like, anybody who gets that kind of power and that kind of data access and that kind of thought processing speed. I mean, one thing we've not done as a human species has been able to think faster and more clearly than we have before. In fact, we're thinking more slowly and less clearly these days as a result of offloading so much of our work in sort of this detached cyborg kind of way to devices, like phones and calculators and stuff like that. They're doing all our thinking for us now, and so we've forgotten how to do it for the most part. There are exceptions. So to suddenly become so superhuman, like intellectually like that, I almost don't worry whether or not the first people who get it are going to be bad guys, because damn it, oh my god, jeez, stupid trees. Oh god. Oh, thank you for exploding near that little guy. Oh my gosh. Do I have another sword? Oh well. I gotta close this up soon anyway, so I haven't really found anything of note, really. Other than taiga. I think this is unique. I hadn't had taiga elsewhere in other parts of my empire that I've explored. Interesting. Kind of ugly, but interesting. Yep, so the whole gist is, it's difficult to write science fiction now because that barrier, that singularity, that inability to see beyond what it takes, that point where you have to become something more than human to see, obviously makes writing about it quite difficult. So I kind of conjecture, like, one of my stories involves a character who is post-singularity. They are an intelligent pellet, essentially, of matter that contains a superhuman consciousness sort of thing. And it can travel about in space inertly as a pellet and absolutely give, basically solid state hibernation, traveling through space until it reaches a predetermined destination. And then it sort of unfurls itself programmatically and rebuilds its consciousness into the person that it was in whatever form seems appropriate to wherever it is. And so you're basically describing a godlike figure. At which point, it starts to sound less like science fiction and more like mythology. Here's Zeus and here's Apollo and these creatures that we call gods, but who knows what they really are. You could get into some interesting stuff that way. But, man, my territory is kind of boring. Sorry. So, it'll be tough to write about. But I think I might try to make a story. Like, it might be a less about the technology. Like, the technological aspect is assumed in a certain way. And it's sort of a moral story because the character arrives at a world that is alive. Not super rare. I've found one or two myself. Under a village. I don't know about in a village, but under one like right under the foot of a house I once found one. But that was just the one time. That's a nice hill. Oh, look. Potentiality out there of a village, maybe. So it might be more of a moral story. Like, what Oh, and that gets back to what I was saying, is with all that power and wisdom, it's hard to imagine that the worst bad guy in the world right now wouldn't gain the necessary insight to understand how they've been bad and how it hasn't helped and how they can fix things. I just seem like it might not even be important who gets it first because they will become so wise that anything they had done could be reversed or made pure or whatever. It's a weird thing. I don't want to get like all vibration-y and Star Brothers kind of stuff, which I find really irritating. But it's hard to imagine being incredibly wise and yet still an evil butthead. It doesn't make sense. That's a nice view, actually. That's a good one. Ooh, nice crater. Does it go anywhere? Kind of. What are the odds there's something in here? Seemingly low. Ooh. Oh! Oh! Ah! I'm not equipped for this right now. Oops. Huh, okay. Do I have any kind of weaponry left? No. Did you get him? No. Am I in danger of... Alright, well, it's not worth it. So, I've said my piece. I think you get the general idea of my complaint regarding singularity versus writing science fiction. And in my own larger universe storyline, I have a real conundrum between the fact or the belief I have that humanity is very soon going to change into something else because of technological insights, and the fact that I need humanity to be around about 16,000 years from now, or about 15,980 years after singularity somehow. Ooh, village. You know, and it's a hard break. It physically, technically shouldn't be, unless these humans are the Luddite leftovers who did not ascend technologically into dust beings of great intelligence. But even if they split up like that, where would the dust humans go where they couldn't become involved in the events of 16,000 years from now? You know what I mean? It doesn't quite add up. And so I have backed myself into a bit of a... Why did I apologize? Hey, a sword! Iron horse armor, don't need it really. But you know what I could do? You know, I should probably find out first if this is even in my territory. I don't want to put down a portal and find out otherwise. So let's find out. Let's find out real quick. Pull it up. Here's Deneb. Don't mind my email. Let's see here. Can we do this? Sorry, this episode's going a bit long. You guys are just going to have to suffer. So, whoops. Where am I? I am at 5298.31. I think that's pretty safe. So 5200. This is all the stuff I've explored right through here. So 5290. Yeah, I'm safely in my territory. I'm down here somewhere. In fact, I've gone down nearly as far as one of my other explorations. So that's pretty cool. Alright guys, sorry, I've made you suffer long enough. This should be a Friday episode, so I wish you guys a good weekend and demand that you come back again next time. You know, nicely.